What you gonna name this one? We
Go
gonna
ahead.
put. We had some technical difficulties, so we back. We back. You feel me? We back.
Mhm.
Uh, we was
That's
actually
okay.
on.
We're gonna be fixed now.
Yeah, exactly. We just a little more twisted than before. That's all you missed. You
Just
feel
a
me?
little bit,
A little more twisted. You feel me? But
That's
other
all.
than that, yeah, it's all good. But I really just to make a long story short with the children shit, I just was saying, I just don't feel like children need to be dealing with these kind of topics. It's like, are you going to explain economics to a 4 year old? No, then why do you need to
No.
know sexual identities? You feel me? Like in the you know, why
Well,
would they need to
people
discuss
think
that?
that they need to be more aware of it, and they don't think that they're being taught at home where they think it's something where it needs to be educated towards children, like just like
Mhm.
English, just like calculus, just like everything else that they're teaching at school.
That's really the trick. You get what I'm saying? To over sexualize children. They don't need to think about anything besides what children should be thinking about. And they're manipulating these children's minds on a whole nother level now. I have no real respect for that, and it's ridiculous. And when it comes down to where the ways they've tried to implement it, there have been a lot of blocks towards them. So it's not as bad as it may seem. But I'm not in favor of any of those type of things. Is what all I'm really saying. But I feel like anybody should be able to be free to do whatever they want to do and live whatever life they want to. But as far as when it comes to kids, I don't think kids should be thinking about gender identities. I don't think kids should know if your name is it, they, and them, or us, or whatever. That has nothing to do with being a child, bro. It has nothing to do with anything. It's something you want to do. All respect to you, but no, my kid don't need to know about that shit. When he becomes 18, sure. 16, 17, he's learning about himself. He knows what's going on around him. Sure, he could be more socially aware at some point. But at 7, I don't think it benefits him to discuss. Well, he has two mommies. Why?
But that's what they're gonna question,
Yeah, no,
They're gonna see that where a child, one of their classmates has two mothers or two fathers,
right
and they're gonna go ahead and ask you that question. That's the thing, kids
now.
are curious about things.
Putting it that way, I get what you're asking, and in that way, of course, you have to kind of paint that picture for your kid. But my whole thing is, I'm not. I don't want to do that more. Be way earlier than I should have to do that because of you. You know what I'm saying? Like my kid deserves to have an innocent life the way all other kids have innocent lives. And when they become aware and they're in the realm of knowing about what they are and what they do, of course, that's when it's really time. That's when you take the best exploration because you haven't been pre-exposed and burnt out on all this shit. You feel me? You ain't been fucking since you was 13. You ain't been doing all this shit. Now you're 20. So now you can go out and actually have a real adult life and have the fun. You want to experiment with girls? Go do that shit now. Because now you can actually do that shit free without it being a tax on like your age or your mental health or anything like that or your identity and changing yourself and all sorts of stuff. You can do all that stuff when you really have a better rationale, like a mindset. Not saying like I said, 20-year-olds not are going to make the best life choices for longevity either. But at minimum, you are enough. You know enough to know I have an awareness. Like I know what I want. I know what I like. I know what I'm interested in. I know what I'm curious about. I know what I'm not going to do. You're not going to be thinking that shit at 12 or 13. Niggas introducing this stuff to you. You have no boundaries. You don't even know yourself. You haven't. Are you? How are you going to deal with a gender identity when you don't even know your own real identity besides the fact that you have a dick or a pussy?
Right.
So why would I want you discussing that with a child? That's ridiculous. Or putting it in children's shows. Ridiculous. They don't even know who they are for real. They barely can spell their name.
And that's the thing. I think what they're trying to do, society and themselves, is trying to mold your own children to what they want them to do or what they think that's what they want.
Yeah, that's
And they
stupid.
don't know, there's so many different types of gender identities that, there's so many things that they're questioning about and they don't know and they think they might know, but then again, you're a child, so how are you gonna really know for sure at 5, 7 years old what you really are, your identity is?
Yeah, I'm not with. But I mean, if you're an adult, like I said, like it was a situation I was talking to a girl, and like I said, anybody can be gay, but they don't have to look gay. So I didn't even perceive her as gay, but some type of way as a group or collective, we were starting to have this conversation about. I don't even know how it happened, but about the different pronouns. And so I said, "Oh, okay. So what exactly is the point of the pronouns?" And then the girl was like, because they, well, people want to do what they want to do and stuff. And I said, okay, cool. Well, okay, why exactly particular ones? Like, okay, some people are she and he, or she and he, or them, or some people be like her, she, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. And they chose those particular pronouns for a particular reason. So I'm like, what exactly were the okay, so if you call yourself them, what exactly is the reason for them? Who is that encompassing? Like, what exactly is it about? Now, I'm a conscious nigga. So if you tell me some shit like, entities or spirits or something like that, I'm gonna be all for it. I'm gonna be like, I get where you're going with it. But, even in the self, like like a self, like, declaration of like I'm a god, or I'm an entity, or I have these facets to myself. I'm okay, cool. But like, if I'm asking you particularly why you can't do it, I would expect, or I mean, why you chose these particular, you know, pronouns or whatever or what have you. I'm going to expect you to have some type of explanation for it. You get what I'm saying? Something,
Right.
not it's something.
Nowadays, they introduce themselves that way. It's not just, you know, you see a lot of times you can't really tell if they're a female or a male. It's like they introduce themselves to what gender identity they feel like they are. They can identify.
Right.
You
Or
know,
you get to calling somebody her, and they, oh, I
yeah,
don't do I
it's
don't do
like
her, I do she, or
male, female.
you're
Now,
right.
male, female, and non-binary, and it could be transgender, or there's different types of sex gender identity. Where you could go ahead and identify yourself as
A
you
fish
are
if you want to.
born as a male, but you have female traits, but you're attracted to other females, but you don't consider yourself as a female. You consider yourself as a male. Um, because your thoughts, how you felt attracted, that's what you identify yourself, but that's what you think you identify yourself. And so now
Mm,
it's more open where, you know, it's okay to introduce yourself not just as a male and female. We're not just stuck in just that two genders right there, where it's more where people go ahead and fall in love with someone. It doesn't matter about their gender as well, and they're making it where it's just more broad, and where we have more options, not just okay, just because I'm a female, I have to be with a male, or vice versa. It could be where it's more open. We're trying to, I guess, they're trying to make it where it's acceptable, where it's more comfortable. But again, we're not educating our kids ourselves at home.
I agree. And the problem I got is you explained that way better than the person that was be doing the shit. That's really the issue I got. And I'm not saying there's not some intellectual person that can explain why they've done what they've done in whatever capacity. It doesn't matter. I'm sure it is. But the problem I got with the shit is, prime example, I asked the person, well, why exactly would a person choose like them per se or whatever? They were like, they don't really owe you an explanation. And I'm like, okay, why does that? Why jump there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not coming in a hostile way or anything. I'm actually wanting to understand the aspect of what makes a person split their identities or whatever, however that works mentally, like, or just whatever, and they can't explain it. They just keep diverting the question and whatever, and I'm just like, okay, what exactly are you saying? You know what I mean? No explanation. So that's where I got to the point where I was like, oh, okay, this is something where people just, a lot of people just put it on. It's just another thing. It's another social thing, a construct thing where you just, attribute to yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like calling yourself a bad bitch or something. You get what I'm saying? That's the kind of level this shit is now. Oh, I'm she and I'm this or whatever. But really, this is like a whole nother thing. It goes some with a whole nother like philosophy, and niggas ain't even really in tune with the shit at all. They just, oh, I'm she, I'm did, I'm it, I'm it, whatever. Why are you even? What is it about? I would respect it if it came from a place of spirituality or something. Way easier than if you just calling yourself some shit and you can't even really even put it together to give to me, so I can even accept it because I have a really open mind. So if you tell me some shit, I'm gonna be like, okay, bro, that works. But you explained that shit way better than the niggas I was talking to.
Well, it's just again, it's something where it's coming with this new, I guess, this generation where it's more free, more open, where they're more acceptable of being whoever they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
What it was before, where it was more like in secret, it was hiding. And now it's more open, so they want to make sure that everyone, including children, to you know, the elderly, or what's going on now is more different than what it was. It's just not where just a man falls in love with a woman. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's people that do feel like they were born as a male and they feel like they should be a female, and vice versa. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how can we tell those people that they're wrong? I mean, if that's how they feel, we don't know how strong their feelings are
Mm-hmm.
about it. How they
Mm-hmm.
concluded to that part where they don't think that they're in the right body.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, I, I can't speak for certain people who want to do that on a level where they feel like they in the wrong body. I mean, hey, personally, I feel like whatever reason or choice you make, and whatever what I mean, reason you make the choice, that's your choice, your reasons, your why. That's your business. You feel what I'm saying? So I rather not even, because that shit is so subjective. You get what I'm saying? Like, my reason for not doing something is your reason for doing the shit. You know what I mean? I don't know what could be going on with you, and more power to you. That's my point where I stress the fact that I respect people for whatever they want to do or how they want to do the shit. It's just, for me personally, I would like to have more. Like, I would have rathered a better conversation from this person that was saying they was gay, and I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? Let's chop it up. I'm trying to have like somewhat of an intellectual conversation with you, and you talking about some childish shit like, oh, I don't owe you an explanation. Like, what? We're like grown as fuck. That's
And
the kind.
what you want to go ahead and educate people instead of having people.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of it being such a social disconnect all the fucking time, there's a point where you can connect some dots for someone, and they can, take that on and be like, okay, I can understand that and rationalize and do what they do with the shit. You fumbling the bag. That's why it's like all this conglomerate of people that's wanting to do this shit and be so for all the rights and all this other shit. Individually, they don't even do anything for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of them people was getting hurt, protesting in the streets and shit to do gay shit and do all this shit they was doing. They had to really do a lot of shit as far as like getting in front of politicians and shit like that to do a lot of that shit, or to bring awareness and shit like that to just what they wanted to do. These niggas didn't contribute to that shit. They just reaping the benefits of a lot of this shit that's happening. And to be honest with you, they don't really give a fuck. They was gonna do this shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like this real convenient thing. I'd be feeling like with people like that, particularly. Like anybody else, it is what you do. Like I said, do what you do. But it was just interesting having that perspective from a person that's, actually living this lifestyle apparently or supposedly, and me just being like unaware of how that shit works for them. I'm like, what's up? And they can't tell me nothing. And I'm like, okay, so you're part of the problem. So when people get into it with people and stuff, you be one of the people that they would use it as an example. You know what I'm saying? Um, or like how you feel about the comparison to the real woman aspect. Like, what you think about that?
I mean, again, it's like, like how you were telling that story. I mean, why would you just say, it's like none of your business, or you don't care to explain? Then how do you
Mm,
expect people, if you have already all this time tried to go ahead and speak out, to try to make it known so that you guys could be out here openly, then why retract, with answers like that?
mm,
By saying, oh, like, you don't need to know, or, it's like, but then how do you want us to not be closed-minded? I mean, it's something that's been going around for a long time, so why even try to act like you don't want to help someone?
yeah. I mean, but how do you feel about the comparison to the real woman aspect, where the trans women are basically
Well, and that's the thing,
you?
though. I mean, you can't do that because it's two separate things. It's just two different things. I mean, yeah, maybe a man would rather be with a transgender woman. You never know. I mean, if that's what they prefer, this there's
Right.
a reason why they're being women. I mean, they feel like they do have that women ability that they could go ahead and satisfy a man. Same way where, why women become lesbian, attracted to other women, because they feel like a man would not satisfy them. They'd rather be with a woman, or for any other reason. But, you know, to compare a real woman to a transgender, you just can't.
I feel like a lot of, I mean, niggas.
I mean, if they could both
Mm,
do it, they could go ahead and try what they
yeah,
need to do as a woman. But can you really compare them to?
exactly. I mean, hey, yeah, like I think some people was talking about this not too long ago, and this has been a big topic since then. Just like there's been a lot of these viral moments where these trans women are talking about like certain shit, and I don't know. It's hard to really get in that argument from when I'm outside for sure on both of them, but it's just interesting because that's why I asked you because I'm like, I mean, niggas will fuck anything, so of course niggas, you know what I mean. It is what it is on certain aspects, but like when it comes down to like I would say like you said, maybe just being so inclusive of what the woman is compared to that and how that work. I don't think we should even be necessarily even having those kind of conversations. It don't really matter. It's like obviously the nigga chose that shit for that shit.
Right. There's a reason why you
There's
chose.
a reason. Yeah, obviously I like bitches because I like bitches for obvious reasons. Do whatever makes you feel like whatever. I don't feel like that need to be discussed on a level where it's like women and trans women don't need to be together. They're trans women for a reason. Now when people do actually I guess change all body parts, I mean that's a thing where they do really want to be known as a woman at that point or a man or whatever it may be. So I mean, hey, even at those points, once you make those steps, you make those steps. But if you live a life where you saying like, even those people aren't necessarily considered trans, you feel me? Obviously, but sometimes they don't really even want to go into. They just want to be known as who they want to be, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I said, there should just be, more people that really want to kind of, I don't know,
I mean,
they
at
don't have to.
the end of the day, they're gonna be attracted to what they're attracted to.
Yeah, that's my whole
I mean,
point. yeah,
obviously they're gonna like it whether it's a woman or transgender woman. They're gonna like that person because there's something
whoever,
about that
yeah,
person. It's
yeah,
not
like,
comparison at all. It's just they're attracted to that person, and that's what it is.
and that's just what it is, and it's life. My whole thing is I'm just I'm seeing things for kind of what they have become now. So that's why this is somewhat relevant as to like the changes that are happening because this shit's been going on, but now we in such a different stage now. So it's like it's just interesting to watch all this go on. That's why I'll be like, if somebody say some shit and I'll be like, okay, well, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? I want to just know just what I'm seeing. But I don't feel like it's certain aspects. Shouldn't really even be talking point like comparing a woman. I don't think that needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
Comparison, I mean, it's really
eh,
not.
yeah, you feel what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, when a person just wants to be a woman, so they do all that shit. I mean, okay, I even get that, right? But you're still not a woman though. You're a trans woman. So to be honest with you, I would respect that effort because a biological woman, as they call them, cis women or whatever the fuck, all this other shit, you already separated yourself from them, from women anyway. So why not give them just the respect they deserve and say, okay, these are women, we are trans women, and that's just what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see how the beef even starts. Like, why not everybody just do what they do? You know what I'm saying? But I'm outside the fight. I don't got no dog in the fight. You feel me? I just don't think you know what I'm saying? Like why are we even having that? It's anti progressive. You feel what I'm saying? It's anti progressive. Like everything that they be doing from a conglomerate level, from what I see, it'd be like from putting shit in children's shows and trying to teach classes and stuff about this stuff, and it'd be like somewhat anti progressive in a way because it's like this aggressive approach. Like they jumping straight for the kids. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Now they're attacked. Now it's like the black woman's getting attacked, or just women in general. They getting attacked from the trans people, or it seems like it's a battle or a fight. It's like this aggressiveness. I don't know what it is. You feel me?
They're putting it out there aggressively because it's already out there. They're already seeing that thing. They're already watching
Mm-hmm.
it, before they go to school, before they start even school. A lot of the children shows that they have, they do start showing a little bit. They implement that, at a very young age, where
Mm-hmm.
they want them to understand and accept it. It's just like you want them to accept for every other thing. You want to go ahead and grab them while they're innocent like that, and you want to go ahead and show them it's like this is acceptable. You need to accept this because that's how society is right now.
Right. And that's true. That does need to happen. And that's why I respect it. But I'm not doing that with my kid at 6 and 7. You know what I'm saying? When they get 15, because that might be where they have those questions. Yeah, that I could give them a little game about this. Okay, this is this type of people. That's how they live. You know what I mean? You doing this. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm doing this. This is how we live. That's how they chose to live. You know what I mean? Simple, whatever the case may be. But the thing is, I just feel like it's being over. Kids are just already hypersexualized.
They are, and that's the thing, though. Um, just even having them where they learn about sex at a very young age now. I mean, again, there's easy access to porn sites, on their phones. A lot of kids,
Mm-hmm.
they have phones, they have easy access on their phone to go ahead and everything there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way, again, they're learning that way
Mm-hmm.
because they have easy access to all this information. They just need to go ahead and look at it and they find it. So how can you go ahead and kind of stop a young child to go ahead and stop watching porn in their phone, or you know
Yeah. Yeah. The porn shit.
at some point you always get curious. That's
Yes,
when
sir.
you start getting curious about the
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that. But how do you how do you go ahead and stop that or try to prolong it where
hmm limit their access to shit like that. I guess. I mean, mm,
How do you limit that? That's the thing.
that's where I don't know. That's a good one. The social media shit is crazy because that's another thing. It's, I mean, generally speaking, just sex generally is everywhere. So like when you have these kids
It's everywhere.
who doing the TikToks, they on Twitter, they on this other stuff, they see all of this shit. There's not a moment in time where they don't see this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like trying to monitor it the best you can is that
And you as
you,
a parent, that's the thing though. Is you as a parent, you have control what they watch and what they don't watch.
yeah, you do. So you do the best you can. But if you have a situation where your kids going to public school, you don't really know what they're doing a lot of the time.
You don't.
You don't really know who they're interacting with. You don't know who their real classmates are and shit. So you could be teaching your kid one thing and they go to school doing other things because that's the environment they're in daily. So that's really the identity that they really have. You with them at the crib where they eat, go to sleep, and wake up and eat cereal. That's some shit they just do. You know what I'm saying? Kids when they get outside, they out. That's what they doing. That's what matters to them. Not saying obviously
And
people
the
love their
whole
family.
world when they go.
Yeah, that's what it is. And school is one of them. School is a training ground. It's a mating ground. It's a training ground. You feel what I'm saying? You find bitches. You fuck them. You learn about life. You do shit. It's just like jail.
But it is its own little world.
So you get me? So it's what it is. My thing is when you have that, then it's inevitable to control. I mean, just generally with sex, you can't control what your kids probably might get into because they're going to be into some shit. You might not know they're into it. The best you can do is try to have open conversations with them so they feel comfortable enough to talk to you about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you so religious to the point your kid don't feel like they can talk to you about how they feeling, then you gonna have a situation where later down the line, motherfuckers is I'm ooh, you be like, wait, where did this come from? How did this happen? You don't. You know what I mean? You didn't create the space where your child felt comfortable enough to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Or talk to you. You know what I'm saying? They felt like you wouldn't accept them or they felt certain ways, which is very common. But it's like I feel like to answer your question, if that's the platform that y'all stand on as a relationship, then y'all should be cool. Niggas could be they can come to you and be like, hey, I want to whatever. You feel me?
That is true though. I mean, and again, it's like it's really up to what you think is best for your child. You could go ahead and limit them to whatever you want them to watch, and then but when they go to a public school, it's something different.
Right.
That's where they're being more pressured by their own peers, their own friends, or
Exactly.
in school.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a part of the whole demo, man. I just like I said, man. I want my kids to be just conscious of what's going on.
You can raise them however you want to. If you want to,
Raise it. Yeah.
you feel like it's at an age right now, it's not suitable for them to go ahead and learn about that stuff. You could go ahead and protect them from that until you think it's ready. But at some point, they're gonna go ahead and question that and be curious about it.
Yeah, at some point, questions will be, or some shit is just laid out. Like some stuff I never talked to my parents about. You know what I mean? Some shit I just knew. I just once I figured out what it was, I was like, oh, okay. It was nothing really to talk to them. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was just what it was. That's kind of how shit's gonna be for them too. Some stuff they might not be really wanting to talk to me about. Some stuff they may whatever. It's gonna be a point where it's gonna be inevitable for us to have a conversation. So I would try to do that shit before it happens. But hey, um, you know, I didn't have a talk before it happened. You know what I'm saying? So, and I got 3 of them running around right now. So,
you got time.
but I just want to salute to you, man. I feel like this is a really good build. I really want to revisit this and really get some people that's some,
I think we should. So we can
especially to pose
more
those
input
questions.
about things, in different
Right.
perspectives, because I really do think they fought so much to be out here, to be known, and try to go ahead and be open about it. I think
Hmm.
go ahead and at least give them a chance to go ahead and educate everybody else. This way, people can
Yeah.
kind of learn more about this instead of being so close-minded and be more acceptable to it, since that's the way it's going in this generation, and it's just gonna go, you know, in a different way in the future.
Right. I definitely agree. We're gonna definitely have some people on here that could really chop up game about, you know what I mean, how they feel about what's going on as well. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let you go, you feel me? And
I want to thank everybody that did tune in, for a little bit to tune in, see what we're talking about. We're gonna go ahead and end the room tonight, and we're gonna go ahead and make
salute.
sure you guys tune in for the next show, right, Doctor Scorpio?
Come on, man. You feel me? All the next shows. You feel me? So salute to y'all. I want to tell y'all, good night.